Sarah Martinez wheels into Rosie's diner like she does every Tuesday after physical therapy, her 16-year-old frame small against the cracked vinyl booth she always chooses in the corner. She has cerebral palsy, her hands shake when she reaches for things, her words come out slurred, but her eyes are bright and alive with everything she wants to say. 3 boys from the local high school push through the door, all swagger and noise, and within seconds their eyes land on her. The whispers start first, then the laughter, then something worse, mimicking her movements, mocking the way she speaks. The diner goes silent. People look down at their coffee, their pie, anywhere but at what's happening. Sarah reaches for her phone with trembling fingers to call her mom, and her water glass tips over, splashing across the table. Derek, the tallest one with the cruelest smile, walks right up to her booth. Can't even hold a glass. He says loud enough for everyone to hear, and his friends explode with laughter. Sarah tries to leave, her wheelchair humming as she moves toward the door, but Derek steps in front of her, blocking her path. "Where do you think you're going, freak?" When she tries to push past him, his hand flies across her face with a crack that echoes through the diner, sending her glasses skittering across the floor. The room gasps, but nobody moves. The waitress finally screams at them to get out, her voice shaking, and the boys leave high-fiving each other like they've won something. Sarah sits there, cheek burning red, humiliation crushing her chest, and for the first time in her life she wonders if justice even exists for people like her. In the back booth, an old man with weathered hands grips his phone, his jaw set with fury, and makes a call nobody sees coming. 1 hour passes and the diner settles back into its ordinary rhythm, though the waitress Linda keeps touching the spot where Sarah sat, guilt eating at her insides for not doing more. Derek and his friends return, cocky and loud, retelling their story to other teenagers like it's something to be proud of. Then comes the rumble, low and distant at first, building like an approaching storm until the windows rattle and everyone turns to look. Motorcycles pour into the parking lot, 20, 30, maybe more, chrome flashing in the afternoon sun, engines growling with purpose. The Iron Brotherhood MC files through the door, leather vests and tattooed arms, but these aren't the bikers from movies. These are veterans and grandmothers, teachers and nurses, people who have made protecting the vulnerable their mission. The old man from the back booth, Jack Hawk Morrison, leads them inside, his eyes scanning the room until Linda points with a shaking finger toward Derek's table. The boys' laughter dies in their throats as 30 bikers form a wall between them and the exit. Hawk walks slowly to their booth, his voice quiet and calm, which somehow makes the air feel more dangerous. "You boys put your hands on a girl named Sarah today, and that's something we can't let slide." Derek tries to act tough, calls Hawk an old man, says it was just a joke. That's when Hawk pulls out his phone and starts reading Derek's social media posts aloud, racist jokes, slurs against disabled people, photos mocking the homeless. "College applications go out soon, don't they? That football scholarship to state." A woman named Rita wheels forward in her own wheelchair, both legs lost in Iraq, and tells Derek what real courage looks like. Hawk gives them a choice: public apology, 6 months volunteering, awareness training, or this security footage goes viral and every college sees who they really are. Derek agrees through clenched teeth, but as the bikers leave, he mutters to his friends that this isn't over, not knowing one biker by the door heard every single word. 3 months later, Derek shows up to his mandatory community service at the Adaptive Sports Center, still resentful, still just going through the motions to avoid consequences. He's assigned to help kids with disabilities play wheelchair basketball, and there's a little boy named Marcus who has the same condition as Sarah, struggling to make a basket while the other kids cheer him on with pure, unfiltered kindness. Derek finds himself actually helping, not because he has to, but because something in Marcus's determination cracks open a door Derek sealed shut 5 years ago when his younger sister, who had autism, died, and he never let himself grieve, never processed the pain, just turned it all into anger at the world and people he could make smaller than his own hurt. When Sarah arrives to speak to the youth group, Derek isn't ready for how much she's changed, her voice stronger, her confidence radiating as she tells her story not just of that day, but of every day, the stares and exclusion and 1,000 tiny cuts that add up to a mountain, but also about the bikers who showed her that justice is real when people choose to make it real. After her speech, Derek walks up alone, his friends hanging back, and says I'm sorry for the first time in his life and actually means it, tells her about his sister, about his pain, and Sarah looks at him hard and says, sorry isn't enough. What are you going to do differently? 6 months after that terrible day, there's a community gathering at Rosie's diner where Sarah receives a Youth Advocacy Award. Derek sits with his mother who's crying grateful tears, and the Iron Brotherhood stands proud in the back. Sarah begins her speech looking out at all of them, the waitress, the bikers, the kids, even the cop who dismissed her case, and says justice isn't just punishment, it's transformation, it's a community saying not here, not ever. Outside, as the sun sets, Hawk tells Sarah she changed everything, and she smiles and says, we did it together. And as the motorcycles roar to life, Derek holds the door open for her, one small gesture that means the whole world has shifted.